Across many homes today, the foundation of family life is quietly shifting. Once shared values like respect, discipline, and integrity are fading under the weight of fast-paced living, digital distractions, and generational disconnect. While the modern world evolves, many young people now struggle to define who they are and where they truly belong. At the heart of this growing identity gap is a deeper issue, the silent erosion of core values that once anchored family systems. How can family rebuild what's been lost and promote pride in core African values? Joining us for this conversation is the convener, Rooted Movement, Ronke Adeni. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you join us. You're welcome.
Thank you for
At
having
least
me.
you're letting us know that you're connected to the roots in different ways.
Absolutely.
But let's really look at how we got to this point, really. We're talking about core values in the family. It is expected that this is transferred from one generation to the other. But we're seeing that there are gaps.
Huge gaps. Yeah.
Huge gaps where a lot of people have now been disconnected to their roots. They do not understand where they come from, and some don't even want to identify with where they come from. How did we get here?
I think we've always been there, but it's getting worse. So I think we have somehow recolonized ourselves with modernization, with education. Even the schools are very, very guilty. We don't even have what we call an African curriculum. We're all chasing what is called the British curriculum, American curriculum. It's even fancy to have those sort of things in school. Language is fading away. We're teaching Mandarin, French in school, Spanish. We're not really teaching Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba anymore. So those are the places where you actually find values, where you actually see that people are practicing tradition, culture, those sort of things. So now you find that the typical teen or Gen Zs, as they call them, they don't want to identify as Africans. A lot of children don't even know what their mother's natural hair looks like. Only when they're inside the house. When they go out, they have to look like someone that is Western. You know, they have to speak with an accent. When they go on holiday for 2 weeks, they come back with an accent. You know, they assume that it's cool. But the reason for a lot of these things is because they have not been taught what it is to be African. If you ask a Japanese child what it is to be Japanese, they would know. They don't know what it is to be Nigerian. There's
But shouldn't that begin from the home front?
Absolutely, it should begin from the home front as well. So a lot of our children are in schools, and I run a school, as you know. So there's supposed to be a collaboration at home and in the schools. But what we have now is a situation where even the parents need to be schooled. The parents need to be schooled because the children, a lot of people, their children don't speak the language. The parents will speak their languages to one another, but speak English. Or even if the children understand, they will speak English back to the parents. That's coming from the perspective of language, for example. So you find that a lot of our culture is fading away. A lot of children don't even want to identify. They don't want to wear traditional clothing. The only reason they're wearing it now because it's trendy. So the two things that are trendy, the clothing ashoke that we're seeing right now and the Afrobeat. But those are trends. So when they actually now move away, what makes you African? You don't want to eat amala, but you want to eat rice and pasta and all those sort of things. Your African food smells, but you queue up at Indian restaurants. You find that everywhere you go, the Chinese man, the Japanese man, they are exactly the same. You know, they speak with their same accent, they eat their own food, but we, the Nigerians, we keep changing. We're not consistent in any way with whatever it is that we are doing. And that's because we don't know our roots. We don't know our history. It's not even being taught. The history that is taught in the schools is not enough to keep a child rooted, to have the pride. Even the pride in the hair, it's not there. That's why they're stealing wigs. You see on you know, all sorts of things are happening.
Yeah, well, talking about wigs, we now have a cheaper alternative that will soon flood the market.
Okay.
You know, yes.
Using plantain.
Using plantain, yes. The woman has been empowered and she's increased her production line. Now, the thing that bothers me is the fact that we see bringing down our culture as something that is good. That, to me, stems from a deep-seated inferiority complex.
Absolutely.
So it's a mental issue. And that means changing it might be a little bit difficult. What are your strategies?
It is absolutely difficult. So we have this conference. It's a start. We start in our homes, as she said. We have this conference that we're having on 23rd. where we want to gather families, schools to talk about these issues. Because even now, when we talk about these issues online, when I post online, sometimes people are aware, but the consciousness is not there. So we need to keep educating people and reminding them that you are actually beautiful. You are black, you should be proud. Because even in a situation, I have a 19-year-old in the UK, and she's telling me that there are some children that they call freshies and braps. British race African children feel that they're better than the ones that have Japa that are born in Nigeria when they join them. So it's still that self-esteem issue where you think you're all Africans. When you go to America, you say you're now black American. At what point did you stop being African? You know, so we have to continue to educate people. Our schools need to become Afrocentric. We need to ensure that when we go to the schools, it's not just all those languages. We're telling the children that this is ilulele, this is a drum as well. We have to take pride. If you don't take pride in something, nobody will celebrate it with you. You have to start with yourself. So let us come to the schools, and it's not everything that is British. Let us stop queuing. And I'm not saying that the British curriculum is bad. I schooled in the UK and it's good. So I'm not saying it's bad. But we have to celebrate our own things, our own language, our own culture, our own history that a lot of people do not even know. They think that we started with slavery, but we are the cradle of civilization.
Yes,
we had all the scientists, all the astronomers. They started in Africa. But we don't know this. Our children don't know. So if you don't know something, how will you be proud of it?
A lot of schools do not even teach history.
They don't teach history.
So we don't know where we come from.
And even the history that is being taught, because I run a school, is watered down. It's not going to keep any child rooted and make them say, oh, this is something to be proud of. And we need to ensure that our children have something to be proud of, so that when they go out there and people are talking about Nigeria or Africa or any other country, they'll say, this is what we have done. Let them have the meat of the matter. So when I went to Egypt, for example, the pyramids, I understood that it was made by slaves, but it wasn't. It was made by the greatest minds with the greatest precision. Those things are still standing years and years and years to come. They were not created by illiterates at all. You know, so we can go on and on about the things that we do not know as Africans. But the more we talk about it, the more we air it, the more that we talk about it in our schools and ensure that our schools are Afrocentric, then people will begin to absorb it and
maybe
change.
we need to start from Kemi Badenoch, you know, for us to
Absolutely. That's a part of the issues.
Yeah, but come to think of it, you know, as you said, people don't want to identify as Africans, you know, because if you look at Africa, I'm concerned about the language, for instance, because that's one of the things that, one of the uniting force that should be. But Africa has over 30,000 ethnic groups with 2,100 documented languages. And if you come to Nigeria, over 500 languages, 250 documented. So how do we now settle for, okay, yes, this is Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Akwa Ibom, etc. Even within the Yoruba clan, we have different dialects.
Yes.
So to the extent that the like of Kwame Nkrumah, Haile Selassie all came together saying that, okay, let's adopt one language that is largely spoken, which is Swahili. Now, if you ask people to say, okay, let's start speaking Swahili, then you start feeling inferior, like, why should I learn Swahili in the first place? So how do we ensure that this language, different languages, are not a point of diversity, rather a point of unity? So which should we probably, maybe not elevate, but something that will adopt, that will make us, you know, unite as one indivisible whole?
Good question. So first of all, we have the three so-called core languages. We can also start with that one, but don't lose our original languages. Let's not lose that.
Mother tongue.
Now, not until, you see, our issue here as Africans is that until the foreigners validate something, we don't think it is good. Take, for example, BBC Pidgin. That's right. It was until they started doing it and we started seeing high-profile people speaking Pidgin. There was a time when if you spoke Pidgin, when they talk, they would look down at you. But now it seems as if it's okay. You see that people are speaking English irrespective of social status. So if it's Pidgin that we want to absorb, if it is, because we're all guilty in one capacity or the other of this thing that we're talking about. So if we want to take Pidgin English, for example, if I tell what they talk, you know, make we they use English. Everybody in Nigeria these days, they know it. So if you want to start with that as one language, at the end of the day, when we're teaching children, we always assume that when they go to school, they must be speaking English. English is just a mode of communication. And
our language now becomes a vernacular.
Exactly. So it should not be that way. So you can teach a child English, but you can teach that child maths in Yoruba, maths in Igbo. You can teach them social studies in another language. it does not have to be that you are speaking English. We have made the mistake to assume that English is what that education is. That if you speak very well, if you speak with an accent, then you are educated. That doesn't make you educated. Do you know what I'm saying? That's not content. That's not content. You know, it doesn't make make you wiser than somebody that is speaking pidgin English and is a child. Like I saw a child a couple of days ago on the road. He had created some kind of car. I don't know how he did it, and it was moving all by itself. He had bottle tops and he had done it. Now, this child probably will not speak with the Queen's English, but that is an intelligent child. So schools should stop making the mistake of assuming that English is a sign of intelligence. It isn't. It's just a mode of communication. They teach in French, Japanese, Mandarin. Other countries, some countries don't even speak English. They don't speak English, but they're getting on with it. So the sooner we begin to realize in Nigeria that English is not it, and parents should stop saying that, oh, they want a British curriculum school, they want this one and that one. No, absorb Montessori. Montessori is a methodology. Montessori is a method, it's a way. So the same way we have the EYFS, it's a way of doing things. So it is okay to have Montessori. But when you say you must absorb the British curriculum, for example, now we keep saying summer holiday. What is summer in Nigeria?
Or Halloween.
Halloween, you know what I'm saying? We are celebrating practices that are not convenient for us.
And we have our own masquerade.
We have our own masquerade. The weather is good for them in the summer. That's why they have the summer holiday.
That brings me to my next question, because parents want to build a child that is globally accepted, because a majority of them will move outside of the country. So, like saying we want to raise a global citizens, for instance. So learn French, learn Mandarin, and all. When you go to China, a number of persons will not listen to you speaking Yoruba and all of that. Are we also putting that into consideration?
Yes. So we have to learn multiple languages. The Chinese are coming here to learn languages. I've seen them in my estate. They come here to learn languages. So why can't we pitch our own? Sorry, Yoruba people saying, that means the thing that you celebrate and put forward. Just like the pidgin now. The pidgin now is going everywhere. If you see that in the music, Afro beats, all the Burna Boy, Davido, they're speaking it, and you go out, you go to self-register, you see that they're playing it there. Until you carry it by yourself and put it out there and stamp it. Don't wait for the foreigners to be the ones to.
So how is your conference going to do that?
So our conference, first of all, is going to begin to elevate and tell people that we are Africans and we are good enough. So we have an Afrobeat anthem, because we know that music is very powerful. It's very powerful. And not just, we have cultural music that's going to happen, but we also have Afrobeat music, so that it can appeal to the Afro and to the Alpha generation as well. So we have the music, we have poetry, spoken word coming, we have panel session of different generations to come and connect with the children, with the family, because it's an open conference. Irrespective of your age, you are welcome to be there. Even education is going to be represented there. So you'll be able to find someone that will represent you and your own unique peculiarities in the home. Even the parents that are not speaking the languages anymore. Many of them have told me that, do you know, I'm guilty. You know, it was unconscious, because there are some things that we are doing unconsciously because people are doing it. So everybody is doing it. Everybody's children, they're all speaking English. Then you think it's
conference free of charge?
It's absolutely free.
It's
absolutely free. It's on the 23rd of August, 2025 at Parkview Estate, Guiding Light Assembly, and all are welcome.
All are welcome. So you're talking about children from rural area, because this is holding on at Ikoyi.
Yes.
So is it not, you know, like creating an elitist gap?
No, it's not an elitist gap, because what we are doing is also trying to get into the public school, using buses to bring them as well. So we need all the support. Schools, they should come out. Churches, NGOs, you are welcome. So we are going to, as much as we have sponsorship, we are going to get buses to bring children as well from wherever location. So it's not an elitist thing.
Yes. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Ronke Adeni, convener, Rooted Movement, for your time. And it's laudable what you're trying to do now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you once again.